Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. I'm getting a little better. My voice is still a little scuffed, still a little sick, but, well, getting better. And I want to make the video today talking about the new Demonology builds that have emerged in the past few days, the Naked Tyrant builds, and talk about if they're good, where they're good. Well, I mean, they're pretty good. I've played them. A couple things before we get into that, though. Number one, the website will not be up to date before the raid launches. I've been sick, pretty sick the past few days. I'm leaving for the race in a few days, which is number two, I guess, in a sense. The spreadsheet has everything you need in it. The same thing as the website. Spoilers ahead. The spreadsheet is the website in the text version. Look at the spreadsheet for builds, bosses, all that. It's all there. Same thing. I'll fix the website when I get home, so I have enough time before I leave for the race. And number two, I am doing the race world first still. I'm leaving on Wednesday. So I should be there Wednesday. I'm missing the first day. I'm still a little under the weather, but getting better, turning the corner, and hopefully, hopefully I'll be good soon. So, like always, Week Wars add-ons, links, Twitch, Discord down below if you want them. And yeah, let's get into the new builds. Alright, so getting into the builds here, this is the Immutable Hatred Grand Warlock's design build that was talked about in the 10.2 Demonology guide. To a similar extent, here is the Hatred Cleave build playing Grand Warlock's design, and here is the Guillotine build for M+, playing Grand Warlock's design. Now, when it comes to Amir Desil and things in general, one thing to hit home on, the Naked Tyrant build has a minute and a half, honestly probably going to be 2-minute damage profile, because you're probably holding your Tyrant for Grimoire Felguard in tier 31. It's crazy to think, I know, opposite way than usual, but damage profiles matter. If there is a fight that really wants a 1-minute damage profile or even a minute and a half damage profile, that may change what build you play. Fights where you have minute damage amps or just things need to die every minute, you might play Grand Warlock's design over the Naked Tyrant builds. Now, the Naked builds, they were ahead by about 1,000 DPS roughly in Sims over the Grand Warlock's design builds here. Looking at Sims, they've been optimized a bit more. This is post-buff. They're now ahead by about 3.5k DPS, about 1.5% in single target, and in AoE they're ahead by about 5.5%, give or take, 40k DPS. And even when it comes to looking at their single target damage in the AoE Sims, the prio damage, I mean, they're still ahead by a little bit, if not very, very close here, right? So it does look like the Naked Tyrant builds are pretty strong, pretty solid, and worth playing. Now, they look like this. Here is the Guillotine Mythic Plus build here. Well, here it is. So no Soulbound Tyrant, no Shards where you cast your Tyrant, no Grand Warlocks, no Ray of Tyranny. You're playing Soul Strike or Vile Fiend here. The big thing with this build, you're playing double Pack the Ant Mother, so more hands. Well, whenever you cast hand, the chance to proc it more often with 2 stacks or 2 ranks or whatever. Soul Strike means more shard gen for your Felguard every 10 seconds or whatever the cooldown is in this thing. I don't even know anymore. More shard gen, more hand cast, more chances to proc this. This is the Cleave base build. Still playing Guillotine, still playing Implosion, Spiteful stuff here, obviously, Dreadlash. You are playing 1 point Nymph Gang boss as well. 1 point's better than none, and still has some Cleave elements to it either way. And that is that. Similar to the Grand Warlock's build, basically pulling like 3 points here, 1, 2, pulling these 2 and pulling this, and going like, I believe 1, and then 2, 3, roughly, give or take. Now, when it comes to the Naked single target build, you're actually playing, I mean, same thing, no Soulbound, none of this stuff here. This is what happens when you just devalue Tyrant too much. You're playing 2 points in Stack Souls, 2 points in Pack the Ant Mother. And besides that, I mean, no Implosion, no Dreadlash, but still playing Soul Strike or Vile Fiend. This does indeed seem higher than Vile Fiend in single target. I guess the reason behind it is just more shard gen every 10 seconds whenever you Soul Strikes, which means more hand cast, more chances to proc Imp Mother, which means more Stack Souls value if you do. And this build is honestly pretty simple to play. I wasn't a fan of it initially, but I played with it more. It's pretty straightforward. Now, there have been Sims and things being optimized lately that when you that look to be holding your Tyrant for your Grimoire. That is correct terminology. Holding your Tyrant for your Grimoire. Grimoire is probably arguably stronger than Tyrant now. That's what happens. You just blacklist everything for Tyrant. It's irrelevant now. Either way, that will give you roughly a 2-minute damage profile. This build also gained more PI value than the other Grand Warlock's build. We're up there with, like, I think, BM Hunter, like 3 or 4 roughly. It's a decent PI target again. And this build, I mean, consistent. Obviously, you're going to play Trinkets later on the tier, like Belorelos, whatever, and Naimu likely. But the damage, you can Tyrant every 2 minutes roughly. But you have CDs, like in Grimoire and Tyrant roughly. But you have just, I guess, consistency in a sense, right? I mean, Sack Souls, a bit of RNG and Imp Mother, but I mean, your imps do a lot of damage. You're striking every 10 seconds. You're just maintaining that damage roughly, with Tyrant being a bit of a boost every 2 minutes roughly, give or take. Now, I talked about it earlier again. Damage profiles vary a lot, right? On certain fights, you might want that 1-minute damage profile, where maybe, let's say, Grand Warlock's design, like this, would be better, having Tyrant every minute, comparatively to every 2. But if you don't, or if a fight, let's say you can Tyrant with 2-minute build, with this build, towards the end of a fight, whilst dying, and not lose any real value, it's likely better to play this build here. So I played with it a bit over the past few days. I mean, once again, like, it is ahead by, I mean, well, about, 3.5k when it comes to single target damage in your max T31 profile. It's pulling ahead by a little bit. So let's take a look at it in combat briefly. Not much changes, but let's just take a look at it and see how it flows. Now, we are indeed playing the single target build here. When it comes to the opener, there's a handful of things we want to keep in mind. Number 1, we're playing Soul Strike here, not playing Battlefiend anymore, so there's that. Number 2 is that we are playing, at least I'm playing on PTR, I'm playing Belorgalorga Lugalos, whatever this thing's called, in this thing. They're technically double on use, but this is only a damage-based trinket. This one's a stat-based trinket. So sims have you popping Belorgalos like right after your precast Shadow Bolt, don't lose a cast in the sim. I'm going to do that here. It might change in actuality. We'll see what happens, but that's that. Your tier bonus revolves around Doombrand, so make sure you're maintaining Doombrand in your opener. Now, if you're really fast in your opener and tight with rotational stuff, you can use your 2 bolts and Power Siphon, one to apply the brand, to apply a brand, and then if you cycle enough hands fast enough before the next core expires, you can have it consume the buff and then apply brand again via the next demon bolt. I'm going to try it here. It doesn't happen. Whatever, I don't really care. But the big thing is that, like I said, in recent sims, it looks like it's likely going to be worth holding your Tyrant for your Grimoire Felgar being a 2-minute cooldown, which is pretty crazy, but honestly, I mean, like, the more I think about it, Tyrant's been devalued a bunch over the past beta or PTR, so I mean, like, it sort of makes sense the more you think about it, right? So let's go into the opener here. We're going to precast Siphon with 2 imps out, so waiting for imps to spawn here roughly. Give it a second. Imps to spawn about now, so we're going to Siphon right into a precast Shadow Bolt. My pet will Soul Strike after he finishes Fellstorming, whatever, it's fine. It'll give you a shard, no big deal. And then we'll go from there. So waiting for an imp here, we're going to Siphon, precast Shadow Bolt, right into it here, cast Belorgalorga Lugalos, there it is. Right into a Grimoire Felguard. Gonna cast a Shadow Bolt here roughly, and they're gonna go with Dogs. Demon Bolt for Brand. I'm gonna go Hand, Shadow Bolt, Hand. We got a Bolt proc there, so I'll actually Bolt again, then Hand. Tyrant, Potion, whatever, and cast the Bolt for a brand right there again, and there you go. Now, depending on your opener and RNG and things, you won't want to get a refund there. Not the end of the world, it is what it is. You'll cast your trinket there, being Naimu, just cast Dogs here, everything else, and the biggest thing you have to get used to is the fact that you don't actually have 5 shards after your Tyrant cast. It's taken me a while. I still try to just passively hand after casting my Tyrant because I'm used to having 5 shards. Not the case anymore. So once you get used to that, it feels a lot better. Demo opener is still RNG. Times you get calling procs, times you don't. Times you get cores, times you don't. But once you get used to it, it really isn't that bad. Now, once again, Tyrant is off cooldown about 45 here, but we're holding for our Grimoire, which has over a minute left on it now. Actually, just a minute exactly right now. So we're still going to do the same thing. Cycling hands, casting Dogs on cooldown. 3-shard hands, praying for, Imp Mother procs, multiple imps, and big thing, maintaining our Doom brand, which is very important. Looking ahead, we're about 40-ish off of our Grimoire. Going to cast Strength here on cooldown, cast a Bolt, cast a Hand here to Bolt again to refresh Doom brand. And besides that, this is the same team we played for a long time. 3-shard hands, Dogs on cooldown, and that's basically it. Casting Dogs here. We're going to cast our Belorgalos trinket, basically on cooldown as well, which should be roughly right after our Tyrant cast coming up in a minute here. I can't talk. I'm still sick, man. We're going to begin building a Tyrant here. We're going to get these Dogs up. So we're going to cast Shadow Bolt, cast Dogs here roughly. It's fine. Bolt. Start building. We'll cycle Hand, Bolt, Bolt. One more Hand. Shard and Soul Strike. Grimoire in the Tyrant. Right into Belorgalos, whatever, pop this thing. There's that. Sounds good. Once again, don't cast a Hand there like me. Not used to it yet. And, yeah, just build shards, cast hands, cast Dogs. You'll have your trinket from Naimu at about 10 here, which is fine. Just play around it. It's sort of offered with double unused trinkets, but just sort of is what it is. We'll have it about here, roughly. We can pop it about now. And I've seen some sims holding it for later on with next Tyrant. I've seen some just not popping Belorgalos on pull at all. So you have a better sync on your trinkets with your Tyrant. Sort of depends. I think APLs are still not fully finished yet. But either way, this version team was looking pretty good. Doesn't feel that bad when you play it. It's similar to Demonology of the past, but a little different. Just takes some getting used to. So if you haven't played it, yet, I'd encourage you to give it a shot. Stop on PTR and see how it is. It really isn't that bad. If you're a fan of Fiend, well, we're playing Soul Strike. But I know a lot of chat didn't like playing Fiend. If that's the case, well, hey, we're playing Soul Strike. I've had openers where I've gotten multiple Imp Mother procs in the opener. I've had like 15 imps out. But at the same time, keep in mind, Tyrant only extends 10 imps now, unless you're playing Ray of Tyranny. This is one of the reasons why Tyrant's not very good anymore, because it doesn't really work with pet extensions anymore, right? You only have max of 10 imps. The shards are fine, but like Rain is just so bad, and unfortunately, Grand Warlocks is sort of mediocre too, and Tyrant itself is just devalued. This is what happens when you just nerf things too much, unfortunately. I guess it's a bit harsh, but you sort of get what I'm saying. Like, you just play a weird build of basically no cooldowns, and like your better cooldowns up here. Grim War is better than Tyrant, basically. It feels like, So we'll see where it goes. But either way, this build and the Grand Warlocks builds are both pretty close. And once again, 1 minute damage profile versus 2 minute damage profile very well may change the overall flow of what you play on a fight-by-fight basis in a Myrtle, right? Looking at current damage breakdown here roughly, imps are a good bit of it. Tyrant is horrendous, unsurprisingly. Doombrand and Doombali, these are both not buffed yet on PTR either. They'll just be buffed on Tuesday, whenever the raid opens up. So if you get on PTR and test now, keep in mind, Demo's doing even more in actuality on Tuesday when the patch hits. So I'd encourage you to give this build a shot, give it a try, because chances are high it'll be played on certain fights, probably a good bit of fights, if not most, in Amir Drasil. So thanks for watching, guys. Wraps it up. Hopefully, answer the question you might have had, but the new Demonology talent builds are emerging. I'm sorry it's a little short. I'm sorry it might be a little unclear. My voice is still not back. It's getting better. I'm getting better. But like I said, I'm flying out a day late to the Race the World First on Wednesday morning at very early. But I want to get this video out to you guys. It'll likely be the last video I get out before the Race the World First, barring some huge changes coming in. But yeah, hopefully that's the question you might have had. If you get any more questions about them that weren't, I guess, answered in the video, put them down below in the comment section. I'll try to get back to you guys. Like always, weekly course add-ons if you want them. Links to Twitch and Discord down below. We're all for free for you guys. Before I end the video, like always, a huge shout out to my patrons for all supporting Patreon. Thank you a million times, guys. I really appreciate it. It allows me to keep doing what I'm doing for you guys, making videos and all that, and I just really appreciate it. Thank you a million times, guys. We'll see what happens. I mean, it looks like a demo tier at this point. Destro likely needs a large aura buff. Af use a few percent probably just demo. Honestly, I'm basically refight. You play Destro Af on like Council of Dreams, but besides that, probably just playing demo everywhere. I do think demo's pretty good now though. We're not like the best class in the raid, but we're a good PI target again. And honestly, after the buffs, like with the buffs with this build emerging, gaining like, I don't know, 3k DPS plus the buffs giving you like what? It's like 5k or some shit. Maybe a little more or less, I don't know. We gained a good bit. Enough to be like, yeah, we're competitive. Maybe 2 demos in certain fights, but we're not like, BM level of strong or rogue level of strong, but we're better for sure. So if you like demo, it's a good tier for you. If not, well, hey, we'll see you in War Within. But other thing said, thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, hit the like and sub buttons below. Helps out a ton. I'll catch you again soon on stream. Peace.